Hi, I'm Dr. David Biedebach with Caneo Chiropractic Relief Center, and I'm especially chatting with my friends from Westlake Methodist Church, or those friends or family you may want to extend this information to, today about osteoarthritis of the hands. And it's very common as we go through life, but it's actually avoidable and it's actually improvable, all right? Now, when it hurts really bad, naturally, it's give me some medication, anything to feel better. But what do you do in between? We don't wait for those bouts to come about. What we want to do is try to improve our motion, because the hand function is critically important, and how we feel and how we're able to do things at our home or work, keyboards, cell phones, and so forth. If left alone, they just keep getting worse. So it's wear and tear arthritis I'm talking about, which is osteoarthritis, not rheumatoid arthritis, not psoriatic arthritis, none of the autoimmunes. I'm talking about wear and tear. So if you used your hands in a way over time that it defended itself with extra bone, it makes nodules around the fingers, makes them very thick, makes them stiff, especially if there's any physical hard labor, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be writing and so forth, anything with a contact or aggressiveness over decades. The point is, you tend to lose motion in those fingers. And because you lose motion, it's harder to handle things, and it makes the adjacent fingers overwork, which tends to make it spread. So what do? You just go ahead and just hold open the finger a little bit, wiggle it a little bit around the joint. So what I'm doing is I'm taking it and I'm also making it bend a little bit more. In the beginning, this may go very slow, because if it's really bad, this may be hurt if you do it too fast, so you don't want to. Just do it very slowly and very lightly to a tolerable way. What you're doing is challenging the movement. Movement is like to any joint. No movement, or the avoidance of movement, is death to it. It's more arthritis and it's worse. So you have to put some effort into it. It only takes seconds at a time. You just simply do a light wiggling mechanism to the finger, the joint. And what it does is it takes the fluid that our body produces, called synovial fluid, the grease of the joint, and it's very healing and soothing, and it literally engulfs that cartilage that's being damaged by the bone structure, and the remaining cartilage is getting bathed in it, and you're actually increasing the motion. And when you increase the motion, the small little muscles that aren't being used start to get work, so you might get a little dull soreness that'll pass, but you just do it for literally like this. I'm doing to the outer joint, the inner joint, outer joint, inner joint, outer, inner, a little bit back, and I'm done. It's very fast. Now, I can increase the motion, because let's say the finger won't bend all the way. Well, then you slowly take it. You must pull open the joint a little bit so it's easier to do it, because when a joint is crowded and it's got arthritis and you bend, it hurts. But when you open it a little bit and then bend it, you'll find you're able to bend it farther. And what that does is allow the muscle to help control it, and hydrates the ligament which holds this together. Ligaments only get a blood supply if there's movement around it. So they become brittle if they're not, which makes them not want to move as well. So you need to do a little self-massage, a little bit of work on it. And I would say do it several times a day. I have to do it myself, because my work has done it to this finger right here, and I have to do it. Got away from me, and this one as well. It may take months, it could take a year. This one took me almost a year. This one almost a year as well, after it started to become a problem. When do we notice it? When it becomes a problem? Well, we need to do it ahead of time. As soon as we notice it, we need to do a little bit every day. And what you're going to find is you're going to move better fairly quickly, but you don't stop there. You keep going, and you get a little bit each day. Now, nothing wrong with taking the anti-inflammatories when you need them, but it doesn't cure it. This won't cure it either, but it'll actually slow down the progress and regain some function in a natural way that has no secondary effects. Another thing you can do is, when you're not inflamed, you get a paraffin bath. You can buy them from Biedebach & Beyond, especially during the holidays, or online. It usually costs about $75. Use about 4 parts wax, 1 part mineral, as you put it into the trough that's there, and you heat it up to about 120 degrees. You dip your hand in, it makes a coat very quickly. You might remember doing things like this as a child. Makes a coat, you dip it about 4 or 5 times, and you make a thicker coat, wrap it with cellophane. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. Take it off. You'll be amazed how much movement you will get from that, because of the deep heat concentration. 1 hand, 2 hands, or a finger if you want, whatever the case. So paraffin baths are awesome, but if you're inflamed, you can't do that heat.
you're not inflamed, it's a maintenance thing to prove it. I've seen seamstresses do that and be able to work for hours at a time. But if you're doing an ongoing thing, you will be amazed how much more movement you get and how much more life and the quality of life that you get and what you can get a hold of and do and enjoy. So Dr. David Biedebach here to help you in any way I can. This occurs with a back tube, but that's a whole different story, and that is very much controllable, but it certainly is improvable with the hands. If there's any questions you have, feel free to call the telephone number. Otherwise, happy holidays. Enjoy yourself. Thank you.